Hi everyone, this is Medium and Channel Bonnie Vent, and I'm running another test. I'm also going to put this up on live stream, but I'm using like a totally separate thing for that. So I'm going to go live on live stream. And if you can post a comment that you see me, thank you very much. I know Facebook takes quite a bit of time and can take quite a bit of time. And since I haven't done it, hi Facebook people. I see I'm live now on Facebook, and I'm also live on YouTube. And I'm using two separate computers, so this is going to get very interesting. Anyway, what I'm trying to do is to set up a different kind of format. If you follow my work, you probably know that I put out messages from a high-level group known as the Connection. And sometimes we do these live and I'm channeling live, and then other times I use the shorter format and I'll pre-record them and put them with interesting videos and put them up. And so what I'm trying to do is to switch it up a little bit, make it maybe a little bit more interesting, and do them live, but just read the messages to you as opposed to channeling them. Part of the challenge with channeling is it can be a turnoff for some people, and also I can't control all the tech side of everything. Hi, Juanita. And if you're over, I notice I have 3 people live over on Facebook. And hi again. If you don't know me, I'm Medium and Channel Bonnie Vent. I am looking at comments, but the only comments I'm seeing are the ones on YouTube. So if you'd like to drop in a comment, I'm very new to this, so there's probably a way for me to see the comments, but right now I am not. So maybe what I need to do is set up a separate Facebook page and see if I can see you guys over here. On Facebook, I'm live. Hi, Sherry. On Facebook, I'm live on the Bonnie Vent Show channel, Bonnie Vent Show Channeling with the Connection page. So let me go over here, and we're all just kind of having an experiment. And if you can learn from me, then good for you. Okay, so I see myself over here. Okay. But I still don't see comments. We're all just kind of having an experiment. And if you can learn. Okay. All right. So now I can see the comments. I see Belinda and I see Dennis over on Facebook. And Belinda's moved over to YouTube, which is an area I'm much more familiar with. So I think this probably could work. It's a little bit complicated from the tech side of things, but I think it's actually working. So anyway, the idea is, for those that just got here, the idea is to kind of commingle the work that I've been doing, which is the live channeling, along with doing the behind the scenes work as well, into maybe a more live format. but channeling live can be a turnoff to some people. It also makes it impossible for me to be able to see comments and interact with you. So I wanted to make sure that I could get like the live question and answer type of thing, because I know people have a lot of questions about the information that's coming through and what I do. And so I wanted to have that capability. And the best way I can think of to do that is to read the messages to you from the connection as they come through. A lot of what is coming through right now is messages about keeping your balance with all the chaos in the outside world. And if you've been following my work for many years, you'll know that this was all predicted, which is not very comforting, even to me as the person who channeled it. It's not very comforting in that it's one thing to channel that there's going to be a fall of governments and things are going to be in chaos for long periods of time and lots of natural disasters. But they were trying to prepare us and ask us if we so desired to shift into different career paths and things like that. I know a lot of people right now are wondering what to do with their current set of circumstances if they're not able to go to work due to the outside world. Hi, Mike. Messages from Michael recently, Dennis? No, he kind of pops in and out. He likes to look over my shoulder, and he really, he seems to like technology still. And when I do these things, he's always right here going, oh, this is so cool. I wish I could have done that. And I think that he did, from what I understand, he did look at message boards and see what people were saying about him at some point in time in his life. Hi, Maricel. She's over on Facebook. And I still have some YouTube people. So guys that are watching and listening to this, please give me your feedback as to whether or not you think this is something that you'd like to partake in. And I will do the best I can, because I know these are very difficult times for people, and there's so much negativity out on social media. And I have to tell you that even the work that I do is very heavily censored. Especially when we talk about empowerment. And so please take advantage of these opportunities while they're still here. You may notice other content providers are talking about the very active censorship and taking down of their content. And so it's continuing on. And so is the chaos. We've got a ways to walk through on this particular one until we come out the other side. And Mike is saying the video quality is good and clear. That's great. For those that are interested in the technology portion of it, I'm using two different computers. Facebook, I'm using a Chromebook and just whatever it came with. And so that's on the one side. And then on the other side, I'm using a gaming computer, a very high power computer on the side of YouTube. And on YouTube, I'm using streaming software called StreamYard. There is a free version to try out, which is what I'm doing right now. And it does have some screen sharing options and things like that. I had not gone live on Facebook before. And so until you do that and try and set something up, you don't realize all the features that are available behind the scenes. So that was very interesting for me to see that as well. You can highlight things that you have for sale and things like that. And as some of you may or may not know, if you've been over on my website, I do spiritual art. And those are definitely for sale and available and bring a lot of good energy and comfort into your space. That's part of what's keeping me sane right now, actually, is creating the art. Mike is saying, I know some alternative places to get info for people that they can use that they don't censor. Yes. Yeah, there's other platforms that are springing up, but they tend to be political in nature. And I'm trying to stay up above anything that is any kind of political. The work that I do with the connection is definitely from a bird's eye point of view. And from space, trust me, the planet looks like it's doing just fine. And so they try to dip down into the third dimension through me and to address some of our day-to-day situations. But they also tend to want to look out into the future and the big picture kind of things and life purpose and why you're here. And that seems a lot of times very far removed from the day-to-day of paying the bills and keeping a roof over our heads. And Juanita is over on YouTube, and she's saying, I'm so glad to hear you today, Bonnie. She lost her dad this morning. Oh, I'm so sorry, Juanita. Yeah. They keep telling me, the connection keeps telling me that I need to be out and on social media as a comfortable place for people to go. Things are getting very hectic in the outside world. And I have to take a lot of breaks because the energy is very intense. And you're trying to balance as if you're on a teeter-totter, if anybody can relate to that feeling. And so even though you can be very spiritually aware, you can have all your guidance, it can still be very difficult because we still have to live our physical lives. And for your dad, Juanita, I'm sure that he's getting a very good experience with transitioning. And there's a very eye-opening thing that happens when we transition. And some things that we didn't understand become very clear to us. Everyone that I've talked to on the other side reports some sort of a life review process. And so they are greeted by, don't know exactly. Some people say that they're greeted by angels. Some people say they're greeted by family members. But they're greeted in a very comforting, loving way. And the things that we've been taught as far as judgments and things like that are man-made constructs. Life review is literally that. And there was one person that showed me the example of like sitting in a movie theater and seeing your life play on the screen in little clips, and them sitting and saying, okay, here's what was going on during this time, and giving you some clarity. And it's a learning experience, transitioning. It's not judgment at all, other than you may wish that you had done things differently. But don't we live that in 3D as well, where we wish maybe we would have said something differently or taken a different path or that kind of thing. So yes, part of my core mission is to bring comfort and to assist with people that are trying to cope through this process. And one of the things I would ask you to do, because these platforms are becoming kind of dicey, even for people like me, I do have on my website, which is bonnievent.com, you can go over there and just drop in a subscription. So use an email, and that way I can get a hold of you through these social media platforms, I get to know you people through the chat, but you belong to Facebook or you belong to YouTube. And so I don't have access to them anymore. Yeah, Mike's over here on Facebook. Yeah, it's a great idea to avoid mainstream media. If you can decipher fact from opinion, it's a real discernment exercise. Um, Always try and go directly to the source of the information if you can. And that is actually doable with, luckily, we've got some people that have taken it upon themselves to go out in the field and do live cams of, events that are taking place. Or if it's political in nature, then go directly to the speech of the person who is giving that speech, as opposed to listening to someone else tell you what they said. It's always good to go to the source. And you read some of these headlines, and they are designed on purpose to make you click on them. And so they tend to be very heavy on a slant, an opinion, or an agenda. So if you're interested, because you do need to understand the facts of what might be going on. So if you're interested in the facts, get as close to the source yourself as you possibly can. And yes, some things you really don't need to be listening to at all. And Mike's saying, I remember still what Marilyn Monroe said when you channeled her. Yes, I remember what Marilyn Monroe said when I channeled her too. And I didn't know at the time that she was actually pretty famous for her quotes. But what she said was, I still remember what she said was, it's okay to let them pretty up your hair, but don't let them redecorate your soul. And she was speaking about her experience in Hollywood and how she was very heavily packaged and marketed to the point where no one recognized there was an actual person there, and that she wasn't treated like a person, she was treated like a product, and that she had a really tough struggle with that. And I'm sure a lot of people that are in that icon status have a similar experience where they're trying to be a regular person and they're not allowed to. Michael Jackson talked about that also, that he would have loved to have just gone around like a regular person, but he couldn't go anywhere without being mobbed, people screaming, and how very scary that experience was. So it's very interesting what we choose to value and the machines behind what is in the culture and what maybe you have to go digging to find on your own. I really like digging on my own and doing research and finding interesting ideas and things that people are working on, as opposed to being spoon-fed a particular idea. So it's very interesting in that sense also. So at any rate, I think technology-wise, I have this up and running and working. And so if you would, please let me know if you think that this is something that you'd like me to do. As far as reading the channels to you, or I can just get on and chit chat with you if you want to do that. But I also have my trusty cards here, which I can pull a card for the group. I don't really want to do individual cards in this format. Because then it's, to the individual, and other people are not interested in that. But so let me just pull a card for the group. Ten of Air. the end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now. Recovering from an addiction. So that's a very upbeat, lovely card. Let me put it up here for those on YouTube. And then the Facebook people, there's quite a bit of delay, but I'll try and put it up there and you'll see it when it comes up, I think. That one's, oh, okay. So there's a significant delay between the two, just so everybody knows. Okay, so I'm holding it up there. Okay. So for me, it's the end of a difficult situation in that I got this figured out. And I love technology when it works, and it can be very frustrating when it doesn't. And if anyone saw the thing that happened last night, I have no idea what happened, but I was doing a test last night on Facebook in the group, and not only did my whole screen, like it said locked and big, you know, the whole screen went orange, said locked, and everything completely shut down. And the one person who was looking at the test, she lost her Wi-Fi connection as well. And my TV has a sound bar on, and I'm running this picture in the background, so there is no sound. But the sound bar was flashing and stayed flashing until I turned the TV off and turned it back on again. So something very odd happened last night. Hi, Franklin, over on YouTube. Nice to see you. And my dog is doing just fine, Mike. Mike's over on Facebook. Dog is doing just fine. She's being very quiet at the moment, which is great. When I first tried to start this, all my neighbors were out doing things and she was barking like crazy, so I had to wait. So I'm just going to go ahead and for those on YouTube, I can actually share my screen, and I can put up the channeled session. So this is the last one that I did. And so, like I say, I need you guys to let me know whether or not you would like me to read these out loud to you, or whether or not you would rather that I just do chit chats, or what would you like this format to be? So I will just start here. And this was actually channeled on July 25th of this year. And it's a very interesting message because here I am today, just a very few days after that, doing exactly what they're suggesting. And so this is what it says. Greetings, dear ones. As the well-beaten path falls away for many, a new path must be cleared. We hope you have been using this time to go within and find or develop the next phase of your life. Do not be afraid to try new things, change your mind, or as the slang goes, pivot. The path is not a straight line. You never end where you start. Circumstances are ever changing. We do suggest you see the writing on the wall. You can choose to resist change, but it does create friction and can be painful when outside circumstances disappoint. Think of yourself as an artist. Are you in a blue period? Or do you see more of a rainbow palette? The more color you allow into your space, the more options you have in your creation. It is playful and not as rigid as only painting one color scheme. Can a blue painter decide one day to use another color and then another? The blending of only a few of the colors makes all the colors. Learn to blend. This and that is much better than this or that. Do you hear and see the difference in this statement? Choosing does not have to be one or the other. Slight adjustments bring a new set of circumstances. There is no need to be at one extreme or the other when all of the opportunities are more easily recognized in the blended middle. It is your openness that makes this visibility possible. Do not be afraid to try something just to see if you enjoy it. Do not put things off for a later time. The time is now, and you cannot go back, only forward. Put more focus on what makes you happy. No judgments from others should be allowed. We do suggest that you take world events into consideration and get very creative into finding solutions or spaces where you can be of assistance. Until we meet again. And Mike is asking over on Facebook whether people are seeing number patterns like 222 and 1111. And I get those periodically, and they last for a little short period of time, and then they go away for a while, and then they're back. But I do look them up online as far as the meanings of those, and they do tend to be very meaningful. So I'm a firm believer in looking at the small signs. People tend to overlook them or dismiss them, and they can actually be helpful to you because in a lot of ways, it actually comes from the Cryon channel material, but I see it in my head all the time. It's a white piece of paper with a big red X, and underneath of that it says, "You are here." And isn't that literally every day we get up and we're right there on that X? And so we make our choices and decide where we're going to be from there. So at any rate, I think this was just a test. And like I say, I'm really interested in the feedback as far as whether or not this is going to be helpful or not to you. I definitely enjoy interacting with you guys. Makes it a little less isolating as we're all sitting home, most of us. And those that aren't, that are working on the front lines, Godspeed to you guys, because it's a very difficult situation. So I'm going to close this down for now, and please get back with me. Post comments on the videos on Facebook and on YouTube, and let me know. I will leave them up, even though this is just a test. I'll leave them up as far as feedback goes. And like I say, I want to be here and be helpful. Please do subscribe over on my website, because I'm not sure how much longer these platforms are going to be available to us. They are also, in a more business point of view, they're also migrating more to like a Netflix, Hulu type subscription with YouTube TV, and pulling in network shows and things like that. So content creators doing individual work fall by the wayside, because people go with the network stuff usually. But at any rate, I want to be here and be available to you guys. And so let me know if this is helpful. So I'm going to end the video over at Facebook and do that one first. So I will end over there. And so I'm going to close out over here on YouTube. And thank you very much, everybody, for participating. I really appreciate it. And I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.